need to come clean, guys. I've been living a lie. It's consuming my every thought and keeping me up at night. So I thought I'd address this in this video. And this one goes out to all my followers and viewers in Northern Hemisphere and Australia and New Zealand. And it's woodland photography. Australian woods. Stunning place, but very hard to capture. And I guess I want to address the, well, I don't know if it's so much of a lie, but the name, the name of the Australian woodlands. So yeah, here in Australia and in fact New Zealand, when we say we're going out to the woods, well, we don't say that, this is what the point of the video is, woodlands. We don't call it that here. Nope. We don't call this the woods, woodland, forest. We call it the bush. In fact, a bush in Australia, or the bush, sorry. This is where the video is going. I don't want to confuse anyone. The bush in Australia can mean such a varied thing. It can mean this environment that you see around me here, a typical Australian bush. These gum trees, thin, strangly long trunks. Or it can mean the outback, where I previously lived, or it can just mean it's like out of town a bit, someone's rural property. So yeah, it has, it's strange, but it does have quite a vary or a lot of meanings of the bush. So we say that we're gone bush in Australia means gone walkabout or gone missing. It also means gone into an environment like this. And that brings me to my Northern Hemisphere friends. I can't name the title of my videos photographing Australian bush because you guys might get the wrong idea and it might be called clickbait or how to photograph Australian bush. Yeah, you might get some real weirdos clicking on my videos. But for the purposes of my videos, previous and now, I'll always call it woodland photography, just for the wider audience. And yeah, we're going to shoot the Australian woodlands today. Very, very difficult subject, as you can see, for many reasons. This video probably applies more for my Australian viewers and probably New Zealand if there are any couple out there. But yeah, just look, it's a very drab. It's very sort of couple of tone colors in here, as you're probably noticing by watching the video. A lot of like drab olive colors, greens, browns, a couple of blacks, but yeah, those kind of real earthy sort of tones. Nothing of the fauna in here sort of pops out. The floral fauna in here really never pops. So there are Australian species that do flower beautifully. Banksias, grevilleas, all those kind of things. Wattles, they all have beautiful, bright flowers, but for most of the time in these gum tree forests, woodlands, bushes, it's just this one tone color. So I'm going to try and get some nice images or show you how I sort of approach it, coming out here and grabbing images. So I guess the first thing, you sort of have a mental idea or a preconceived idea of how my images want to turn out on the conditions. So if it's foggy, if I came in here and there was fog, it'd be a lot easier to work with editing, capturing, composition, editing, all that. It's I find it a lot easier. Today, a little bit overcast, there's some light breaking through. We had some rain this morning, it's clearing up. So my idea now is I'll probably go for real painterly looking kind of images today, and I'll do that through editing. Using, people call it the Orton glow effect. I do use that, but I don't use it a lot. If you tend to overuse that effect in woodland, it looks like someone's got a Vaseline jar and smeared it all over the front of your lens. And some people overdo it too much and it just does not work. So yeah, what I'm going to do is walk around this amazing woodland, and capture the true essence of this area. So knowing, I guess, educating yourself on the local natural area that you're going to photograph helps too, and knowing, how do I say it, knowing the landscape itself. So something like this dead, fallen gum tree, I think it is, just here, lying amongst these gum trees. It's just a classic sort of Australian woodland look. And I've cut the sky out way up on the top there. Again, I'm not sure if it's going to be an amazing image, but I'm going to try and make it look pretty good in editing. Not too much editing. I'll be honest, I don't do too much editing in my photos. I use Lightroom. And then if I want that soft look, I'll just do a little bit of an Orton effect. But yeah, 16:9. I got this this fallen tree, bracken, the grasses, a bit of light in the back there. See, I'll play around with my settings in camera and see what looks best. I'll always take one, a small and large aperture, and then see which one looks best. If it's just the front of the image I want in focus and it drops away, or sometimes it looks good when most of the image is sharp. You can see after, or I don't know if you can see after the tree itself, this fallen tree. It's chaotic back there, but it's not scrubby or lots of foliage chaotic. It's just messes of all these trunks going on all different angles. So I guess it doesn't matter if you drop that focal length off back through there. So I'm going to take this shot, 16:9. I've got a wide angle lens on, which I usually don't use in woodland, to be honest. And then I'm going to switch it up and put my 24-200 on. And again, I'm going to look for a composition or an image that I know I can make soft and painterly look in Photoshop. So let's get on. I'll shoot this image again. Classic kind of thought behind this. Dead tree, fallen over tree, bracken, grasses, soft look. So I'll chuck this image up and come along. If you obviously if you're not from Australia, you don't get this conditions, but come along. I'll show you Australian woodlands, bush, and we'll go for a little walk and explore this local area. Here's this image. Let's move on. So I've just come off the track here. I guess this is all about knowing your environment, and what I've sort of touched on it before. What I mean is coming to a place, and researching it. For example, I know that this is mostly gum trees, tall, thin, long gum trees, and it's extremely hard to shoot. A lot of deadfall. Bring it back to the typical Australian sort of forest, woodlands, bush, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so coming in knowing it's going to be hard to shoot, then I've thought about how I'm going to edit it. And again, painterly soft sort of look, the drab colours, getting a little bit of light now all across the canopy. The sun's rising, so I might drop down in this little valley here, which I've stopped and I want to talk about. I've actually walked past this before. It doesn't look too amazing with the eye, but I thought it'd look really, down there's a creek bed, I thought it'd look really nice with some heavy fog in here, which you do get occasionally, and I'm still waiting on. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to show you what a not so great scene can do with a little bit of nice editing, soft Orton effect. Yeah, 16:9. I don't always shoot 16:9. A good little tip too is if your camera can do 1:1. So right now I'm in 1:1 ratio. You have that nice square crop. It's really good for woodland. But me, and if you follow me, I really like 16:9 for some reason. So I'm going to change my 1:1. I always play around with the view, 1:1, 16:9, full frame, and it always sees what looks best. But yeah, gonna shoot this image. Probably doesn't look, and like I said, very drab. Doesn't look anything amazing. Probably see the camera, vlogging camera, but I'm gonna try and make it work in editing. So yeah, 16:9, 1/3 of a second, f9, ISO 100. Here's this image. Coming off the track here, again, probably knowing your environment is an unassuming, probably for most people, if you don't slow down, take your time, is the scene in here. And I've taken it from two different angles. One right here between these two trees. There's a tree here and a tree here. I've just walked around the other side of this main old gum tree here. Now I'm shooting that one. I had some nice light coming through there. So I'm going to take you through the same scene but different compositions, and then through the editing I think this is going to be really nice images. So the first one, well, the second one I'll go through and I'll come back to the first one. So looking down here, quite simple really, was a f9. So this is it. Looking down here, there's that tree that I mentioned, so I shot the other side of it before, but down here just all these really unusual trunks back in here, quite small, quite spindly. They're all going off in different directions. 16:9 again. I've gone for quite a sharper look this time because there's quite a lot going on in this foreground, and I really like the trees in the back, so I wanted most of it in to be sharp and in focus. Yeah, light's gone, clouds just coming, but I did have some nice light coming through here, which really made the image. And luckily I shot before I started vlogging the other side. Yeah, so you can tell me which one looks best. I'll show you this one first. Looking at these trees, the bracken down there. So if you imagine 16:9, just these trunks of these little trees. And then I'll take you, this one was a little bit more trickier. I had that trunk there and that trunk there, so I didn't want to incorporate those, so I came forward a bit, and then I pretty much ended up with this scene here. Again, I had some really nice light coming in there. I really like this centerpiece tree right here. It's full of character. It's going off. In fact, I think it might be dead. And then framed it off to the right hand side, my right hand side of this tree here, 16:9 coming through, and just got all that scene in there. And again, well, don't fall over. And then again, I'm gonna make it really light and bright, probably in Lightroom, and then a little bit of Autumn effect in Photoshop, and that's it. So yeah, Australian woodland, Australian bush. Australian woodland, typical Australian woodland. I think that's pretty much it. It's getting on now in the morning, so I can't spend all day in here, but yeah, I hope you came away with something, especially the Aussie followers. Something like this can be really daunting. It's all same, nothing really jumps out at you, so knowing what you're going to come in and shoot, or at least how you're going to edit it in your mind, can help a lot. And just slow down and see, and then think in your mind what's going to work. That advice I just gave you, the kookaburra is laughing at it. Yeah, thanks buddy. But yeah, I think that'll be it for now. I'll slowly walk back along the track and I'll make my way to the car. Here's those images. Made it back to the old car. Yeah, just want to say thanks for coming along. I hope you picked up a little tip. If not, hope you enjoyed the images at least, or the walk through the Australian bush. Yeah, all right, I'm going to end it there. It's time to go home. So again, thanks for coming along. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and leave a comment if you liked what I was going for in this video, that soft painted kind of look, and with the environment I had to work with, it's quite difficult. So all you budding or Australian landscape photographers out there who find woodland difficult, get out there. Maybe also, if your strong suit's not editing, maybe watch a couple of videos on autumn effect and apply a small amount of autumn effect to your images. Yeah, and you might find a different side to it. Till then, have a good week. See you later.